Okay, I know. Where's Shredder Strikes Part 2? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get to it, just not this week. I couldn't because of the circumstances that I was in, okay? I wasn't at my house last night, and the way that I normally work or I have been recently, if I have a video coming out on a certain day, I will record it the night before, so I have enough time to clean up the audio before I go to sleep, so when I wake up, all I have to do is the drawing and then edit the video together. So I wasn't here last night, and I didn't get to record last night, so I'm not about to record an entire episode recap and then do an entire drawing and try to edit it all in one go in one day. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I could do it, but the video would come out super late, like even tomorrow, and I'm not trying to have that. I want to get it uploaded today. So in order to do that, we're just going to do a stripped back video. Nothing too crazy with the visuals, probably just a slideshow, as we have a one-on-one discussion about a topic that's been in my head. Consider it just a little discussion video. That's all it is. And it's still going to be fun. We're still going to have a fun time. It's just not going to be flashy with the drawing and all that stuff like the episode recaps that I normally do. But it's okay. We'll be back to the episode recaps hopefully next week, the week after, we'll see. Quick, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. Leave a like on the video if you end up enjoying it, and share the video around with anyone you think may be interested. By the way, a comment down below in that comment section goes a long way. Today's topic of discussion: Nickelodeon. They own TMNT. They own the entire property. They've made the awesome 2012 show, which ended back in 2017. I can't believe that show is about to be 10 years old this year. Then they made Rise right after, and that show is over. So obviously they're going to want to reboot the Turtles again. We already know they're getting another film reboot. Actually, a couple. They're getting a live action one and an animated one, both coming to the big screen. I don't think in the same year. I think they will be spread out from each other, probably set in different universes, but still, the Turtles are getting proper reboot treatment on the big screen. But what about the small screen? Yeah, we're getting the Rise movie on Netflix this year, but I'm talking about a new incarnation, a new reboot for the upcoming generation of Turtles fans. We have to wonder what that's going to look like, what the tone will be, and I don't know, I just thought that would be a fun thing to discuss here today. I'm not going to dive super deep into the topic because it is something that I want to talk about with more people, you know, like get my friends on the channel and have a roundtable discussion about all the different ideas we have for the direction the Nickelodeon can take the franchise in an animated series that takes place after Rise. Not in the same universe as Rise, but becoming the new mainstay series since Rise is over. There are so many routes they could take it. I don't know. Something's telling me that this movie that Seth Rogen is working on, the animated one for the big screen, might spin off into an animated series that'll be running week by week on Nickelodeon, or I could be entirely wrong. And that's not the case at all. He just wants to make a film series. Personally, if I had it my way, Nickelodeon, what I say you do, focus on streaming. Nick, the main channel, doesn't need to have a new TMNT series. They could just air reruns of Rise, air reruns of the 2012 show. I know from time to time we show the TMNT 2003 show on Nicktoons. I don't think they've ever aired the 87 cartoon. At least I don't remember them doing so. But focus on streaming. Like, you can have a property on there that's animated and covers a wider range of ages, you know? To where some younger folks can appreciate it, but there is like some deep story there and some high action and, you know, an engaging plot, in-depth characters, things that I'm not saying kids don't appreciate, but something that a more mature audience most definitely would. You know, you're just catering to everybody, and a streaming format I think works better for straightforward storytelling where episode by episode character progression is intact. Things that happen in the last episode directly affect the next one, and that's something that previous TMNT shows have tried. But you know, being on a network, you're gonna have to have some filler episodes, so there are times where in the middle of the story we'll deviate to do quick little offshoots, little one-off episodes. And I think that's honestly because of the format in which the episodes had to be presented to us through basic network television. Now that you have streaming, you can cut the fat out, especially if you're making a show specifically for that platform. If you're dumping it all on one day or just doing it week by week, whatever the case may be, you have all of the episodes there to access and rewatch, and they're making a profit off of that every single time. You can keep the seasons shorter, anywhere from like, I don't know, 8 to 10 episodes, 13. You know, back in the day, I didn't have much of a problem with like the 2003 show, the 2012 show, reaching these high number seasons, like 23, 24 episodes per season. That was fine for me. You know, as a kid, I was tuning in every single week. I had nothing else to do. You know, sitting with my Turtles toys, fighting, recreating action sequences from the episode I just watched that morning or that night, depending on which show you watched at what time and what season and all that stuff. But whatever the case may be, I had the time to watch all 23 of those episodes or however many they packed into a season. Now, for me, I don't have that time, okay? I don't really have the of time to be watching 23 plus episodes per season for a show, especially if you're something like the CW. I used to like The Flash and all that. I can't stand it anymore. But no, I used to watch the 40-minute episodes. They had like 25, 26 episodes per season. I have no idea how I did it. But we're living in a different time and people have other things to do. And especially me, working and animating and making these videos for you like I'm doing right now. I just have so many places that I need to put my energy to and sink time into and give my attention to as a responsibility. So when I have time to sit back and watch stuff, I would like it to be in, short bite-sized pieces, but I'm still getting a load of quality content in that short amount of time. Plus, it doesn't just benefit your viewer, but it also makes the product itself just way more cohesive. It's like, okay, let's get straight to the point. We have a story to tell. And sure, it's a business. It's not a charity. You're going to want to make money off of this stuff, but it would allow for those that actually have a creative vision for a Turtle series to work on it and make it happen. Now, with all that said, I have to say this. I recognize when it comes to the animated series, of course, if we're talking about the last few that have come out, actually all of them, even the 2003 show, it has some stuff for adult fans to like, but all of them, the target demographic, children. Okay, there is Turtle media out there that is aimed at us, at the older fans, at the adults, teenagers, young adults, all of us. Yeah, they have stuff for us. The animated series, we are not the target demographic. It sounds like a bad thing, and it must sting to hear that, but it's true. I was a kid watching new episodes of TMNT, the animated series, because it was aimed at me. Now, saying this is where I think a lot of the worry comes in, and a lot of the frustration and the anger and the back and forth and the arguing. Just because a show has a target demographic does not mean that people at an older age cannot watch it. All that it means is that the people making those shows are aiming a specific target demographic, and it would be nice too if some people outside of that demographic vibe with the show as well. It's not saying you can't watch it. It's not forbidding you from tuning in and watching these cartoons. Do you understand that? Do I have to sit down and spell it out for you? I'm kidding. I'm not aggravated with any of you guys. I'm doing it for comedic effect. But honestly speaking, I can get it. It sucks hearing people say, oh, TMNT is for kids. When really, as a broad statement, the entire franchise, no. But the animated series, each one that's come out, yeah, they're targeting children to be their target demographic. And that's a-okay. You can like children's shows. It's okay. Especially ones like this that go out of their way to have parts of the show that cater to older fans. Because even though they're working on these kids shows, they do know there are classic Turtles fans that are tuning in as well, and they're like, okay, let's throw them a bone here and there. Plus, also it being, a kid-friendly show or targeted towards kids, however you want to phrase it, that's not an insult. It's just smart kids programming. Nickelodeon, the network for kids, had Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we all love it, airing on a network for kids. As I said, quite literally, the network that the 2003 show aired on was called For Kids. I think people forget that. At the end of every single episode of TMNT 2003, what does it say? For kids. I'll never understand if anybody wants to yell at me for that. But guys, come on. There's nothing to be ashamed about. The show is still awesome regardless. But yeah, all of that to say, I'm sorry I went on that little rant. But I said all of that just to say that even though that's my ideal route for a TMNT show is the streaming service and shorter episodes, more concise story, compact it all into a quick watch, that's what's most convenient for me. But to reiterate, I'm not the target demographic anymore. Whatever they do, it's probably going to be catering to the amount of time that children spend watching any given thing. So who knows, maybe that 20 plus episodes per season format still works. Maybe it still works for children's programming. If you want me to lessen the blow, maybe it still works for teenage programming because teenage is in the time, whatever. Guys, get over it. Whatever the case may be, if we want to watch it, we have to just bend our schedule around how the show is formatted. Because again, we shouldn't expect them to target everything towards us. We have stuff like The Last Ronin. I'm sure down the road we'll get some more gritty stuff in other mediums. It'd be great to have like a AAA TMNT game. We talked about that here on the channel. What studio we want to see develop something like that. The comics have always had our backs. They have comics for kids, they have comics for young adults, teenagers, adults. TMNT is very diverse in the comics in terms of the iterations that they present and how their characters are bent and, just displayed in so many different areas and ways. And is really cool. It's really cool to see that. I just hope that one day we'll get to the point to where we can see that variety bleed over into the cartoons, have different variations of universes and the live action stuff. And I think we're getting there. You know, we had something like Batman versus TMNT. That was cool, aimed for an older audience. I guess, you know, if you're a cool parent, you could try to get your kid to watch it, but it's not for them. That's more for us. But that's cool that they are making those leaps to make stuff like that for a different target demographic and a different medium that's outside of the comics. That's cool. So hopefully we'll get stuff like that in live action. It would be really cool to have an entire animated series that's just like mature TMNT. When I say mature TMNT, I'm not talking about, you know, the Netflix checkbox. You know what I'm talking about. I just mean a grown-up, not a grown-up, they're teenagers, but you know what I'm trying to get at. The Mirage comics adapted, I don't know, into something like Marvel's Daredevil. I think you could even get away with, you know, taming it a little bit. You could tame it a little bit. Like, it doesn't have to be all out bloodshed or anything like that. And it could still work. It could still work. Whatever the case may be. What do you guys think? What should Nickelodeon do with the next series, the next TMNT animated series? Not talking the movies that are coming out, not talking the Rise film that's going to be on Netflix, not the comics, not the games, none of that. Specifically, following Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what should Nickelodeon do with the brand on television, on the small screen? And do you want to see it on the network Nickelodeon, or should they stream on Paramount Plus or Netflix or something? Whatever you think, please comment down below. I love to hear your thoughts. Have a conversation with each other. If you're going to comment down there, make sure you reply to somebody else's comment so you can, you know, bounce around ideas and stuff like that. You might even make your own like conceptualized story in the comments. I would love to read through those. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and share it around with anyone you think may be interested. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it so you don't miss a single video that I post. And drink water. Be super safe. And eat food if you didn't eat today. Okay, cool. Awesome. And as always, I've been Geekly, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cowabunga, dudes.